All right, Jordan Peterson, your daggone daughter is a fox. She is a fox. Yeah. Okay, let's go.
Hey guys, so I'm not sure if you've seen, but Steven Crowder made a video about an offer he received from the Daily Wire. He criticized DW for supporting big tech on January 17th. Jeremy Boring, the CEO of DW, made a response video. And then on January 18th, Steven posted another video where he played part of a conversation with Jeremy that he had recorded on the phone without Jeremy knowing. The whole thing's crazy.
Okay, I do have to say this, Michaela Peterson. It was legal. It was legal. And he did not have to disclose that he was having a conversation with him. I understand. Y'all are like, man, look, they probably had a meeting and said, look, we got to go at him. Ain't nobody going to be coming at us like that. Huh? Who's with me? And Jordan was like, nah, I'm good. I get my wife. I get my daughter to go at him, though, but I'm good. I'm not saying nothing about him. As a matter of fact, Jordan Peterson actually posted a tweet in support of him until he found out, whoa, we're not supposed to support him? Okay, let me delete this.
He had recorded on the phone without Jeremy knowing. The whole thing's crazy. Given Dad is signed with DW, I thought I'd comment a bit about the contract as I run my dad's brand and help negotiate the contract that Dad signed, as well as tell you what working with DW has been like. Also, I like Steven Crowder. I think he's extremely entertaining. I've watched him comment on the election. It's funny. My guess is the point of this whole thing must be to launch something that would be considered in competition with DW, his own platform. That's my guess. I have no idea if that's true. And that would be fine. The more, the merrier. There should be more conservative platforms out there, but that's no reason to tear each other down and create drama, in my opinion. I thought I should address his insinuation, though, that people working at DW are locked into contracts they don't like, taken advantage of and forced to do whatever DW says, because that makes my dad look naive and incompetent, of which he is neither. So I like Steven again, but I think things need explaining on our end anyway. If you're an artist or an entertainer, or in my dad's case, intellectual internet dad, and you get a contract, you read it thoroughly and you negotiate until you either love it, or if you can't agree, you go your separate ways. Negotiate like a shark. It's not the contract that you don't have to sign that's an issue. It's how well you can negotiate. If it locks you in for years, you better know what you're getting into. Read it, think, negotiate, use lawyers, and make a decision.
The main thing that's coming out of this is the education of reviewing contracts, the education of doing business with people, and how to, I guess, present yourself publicly when it comes to any type of disputes. Or that's what I'm getting from it. It's a lot that's coming from it. And also a lot of good content is coming from it. People are doing some great content, getting awesome numbers, and kudos to them for that, and us, because I was able to capitalize off of checking out some of this stuff as well.
There are definitely naive people who don't understand contracts and don't pay enough attention, are too young, or are advised badly, and they sign up and then say they're a musician. They end up losing 50%, maybe 70% of their income for decades. Fortunately, we're not naive, and we've negotiated business deals before. I'd also like to address the fact that Dad retweeted Steven's video to add to the drama, because Steven sent it around, and Dad does that to support Steven because we like him. But when Dad found out what the video was, he deleted the tweet. DW actually asked him not to delete it because they said it would look like they had asked him to delete it. But at that point, he'd already deleted it. So that's the story of the tweet. Anyway, let me explain a bit about the deal my dad signed. When we received an offer from DW to produce Dad's podcast, etc., it was an all-encompassing offer where DW would take over production of the podcast and run and grow social media channels and monetize YouTube, and Dad would be paid a large amount of money for that in a multi-year deal. It seems pretty similar to the one Steven was offered. When you've built something yourself, and I started the social media channels between like 2014 and 2017. Oh, and Dad started YouTube like decades ago, and Twitter, whenever that started. When you've built something
you said decades ago
yourself, it's pretty intense to sign it over to someone. Are you gonna have the freedom to do what you want? Are people gonna think you're a sellout? The contract was intense. They offered a lot of money. It was basically a 360 deal, but they'd get all the revenue from monetizing the podcast and other content, and Dad would get a fee. They also wanted the podcast initially behind their paywall. Anyway, we were doing pretty fine by ourselves. We had a small team that was running the podcast. We have online products that Dad started decades ago. It's not like we hadn't managed to monetize social media in the last 3-5 years.
Jordan Peterson has done an amazing job raising up a young lady to be so intelligent and well-versed and in a position where she can not only help him run his business, but run her own. That's absolutely phenomenal. So much respect to Jordan Peterson and this young lady for this, because I look at everything as a dad before anything, as a father and a husband. That's how I look at things before anything. And when I look at this, it makes me proud, man. Regardless of what she says, I get the insinuations of Steven must have been working on something that will go against what Daily Wire is doing. So he was trying to drum up drama in order to do that. But that's still insinuation, because there's nothing out there that confirms that. But even still, a lot of people are learning a great deal about contracts, content creation, what they need to look for, and all those things. And you can thank Steven Crowder for that, but nobody's doing that. Okay.
The online products are from way before Dad got famous. We had a few upcoming podcast deals that looked really good, so things were good. Dad was feeling better. Dad's still feeling very good. Mom's healthy, and we definitely didn't need to sign the deal. We say no to offers all the time. I love saying no. It used to be hard, but I love saying no now. And I believe DW and our team went back and forth over the contract for 5 months. The last 3 months, we changed things in it every day. We had lawyers look over it, Dad's agent. My husband and I basically have that multi-page, it's like a 15-page contract memorized word for word. If DW was going to run the social media channels we grew, and his podcast and YouTube channel, we were going to make sure this is something we really wanted. We wanted to make sure we could pursue what we wanted now and in the future, start new projects if we wanted, talk about whatever Dad wants, tour, write books. Like I said, he has his online products like self-authoring and Understand Myself, and we wanted to make sure we could continue to advertise those and collect that revenue ourselves. Those are separate companies. My brother has Essay, a writing tool, so we wanted to make sure it's like partly owned by Dad. We wanted to make sure he could work on that and advertise and talk about that. And we wanted to make sure we could build Peterson Academy, because an online university is something Dad has wanted to work on for years. We'd already started that project. So it was a complicated negotiation. We negotiated like crazy over the contract. It was like a movie level of intense. It was fun, but it was intense. We weren't giving them anything we weren't more than happy to give them, and they were doing the same to us. We ended up with a contract that kept Dad's podcast on YouTube for free, which was insane that was allowed, I think, given the amount of money that was on the table. Left out his other projects, left out his books, left out touring, and gave him the freedom to pursue what he wants in the future, and gave him access to their production team, advertising budget, and audience on DW Plus, and more. They offered Dad production value and a level of support we couldn't have and didn't do ourselves. Like, their team is huge. They have way more money than us.
Now, here's the thing. Now, I want to just, and I keep on stopping her with her making silly faces. I'm trying to, I don't know why. Hold on one second.
And didn't do.
Okay, let me stop right here. All right, first of all, and I'm going to continue, guys, just 1 second. The reason why I stopped it is because I just want to make this one point. Steven Crowder was not trying to take up for the Jordan Petersons, the Michael Knowles, the Matt Walshes, and the Candace Owenses. He wasn't trying to, be a champion for them. I mean, yeah, he is essentially, but he's more so concerned about the people who sign on as content creators who don't have the same teams as you all, the same lawyers as you all, the know-how, the understanding of, okay, if you're presented this, how far can we go with negotiations? You all know that. Steven knew it. Steven knows it. All the people at your level know this. All right. The same reason why Candace took 5 months to negotiate her contract, because what they presented her was something that she saw a bunch of like, no, hell no. And same thing with Jordan Peterson. Y'all was like, nah, bro, we got a whole bunch of things happening already. And if they're going to be paid for the things that we're working on right now, that's a big no. And new. And yeah, we do understand that y'all are going to offer us your team to use, your studios, your budget for extra projects and whatnot that are mandatory. Then yes, that's a plus. So absolutely, I get it 1000%. Steven Crowder was coming from a position of trying to make sure that the little guy would be protected in the event they're presented something like he was presented. Because most times, yeah, we would negotiate. And when I say we, I'm talking about as content creator. I'm a little guy. And if, say, I wanted to work for Daily Wire, not that they would hire me, but say I wanted to work for them and do some content for them. Me, I don't have the team you all have. And if I were to try to go back and forth, that would be a big penny for me to try and hire someone who could represent me in a way that this could change my life. This right here could literally change my life. So was he working on something for him alone that will compete with Daily Wire? Maybe. I mean, he already was pretty freaking huge. And this is why that insinuation comes in that, you know, they believe that he more than likely was working on something. He was trying to railroad Daily Wire in order to bring on more people from Daily Wire over to his stuff. That's because Candace Owens made the same point. Ben Shapiro made the same point. So it's almost as if there's talking points going around to combat what Steven Crowder has presented. And that right there comes off as disingenuous. I get it. She's not trying to say anything bad about him. She's actually just speaking up for her dad's contract. But this wasn't about your dad. It wasn't about Candace. And I get how it may seem that I don't want my dad to look like some incompetent fool for signing a contract with Daily Wire. So I have to come up here and take up for him. You do not. You don't.
Do ourselves. Like, their team is huge. They have way more money than us. The reason his podcast looks better now is because they literally fly people out to film Dad's guests. That's crazy. They fly a crew to film his guests, and he records twice a week. They fly around with Dad so he doesn't have to set up Zoom podcasts anymore.
They fly people out? What do you mean they fly people out? Do you know? Have you heard about climate change? Oh, man, that sounds like some white privilege to me. I'm just playing. We checked out some videos earlier about some white privilege. That joke probably, okay, never mind.
He's like fancy camera angles. They do everything. He just walks in and records now. He can record from anywhere. So he's not even forced to like be in a studio. They go 3 hours away from his house to film the podcast at his cottage. So it's convenient for him. They were on tour all over Europe, Australia. It's crazy. He wanted to film some documentaries, and they have a team ready to go to make whatever documentaries he wants. So now he has one on the Bible Museum. He's recorded 2 more. They took over filming for his tour. So before DW, we were filming his shows on tour to have the footage, but it was in a pretty simple way. You can set it up with the venue. You can get pretty nice footage depending on the venue, but you can't get the type of footage DW is getting with the budget they have and the budget we had for filming. So now all of my dad's lectures are filmed professionally, like kind of like Netflix style, which makes everyone in my family happy because he's not going to be around forever.
But she also, you need, Michaela, and I know you get this already, you're seeing all of the benefits and how easily, I mean, how simple they're making your dad's job and everything. But what you don't understand, well, I'm sure you understand. See, I sound like a mansplaining right now, but the added benefit to them doing all of this is making sure that their product, that Daily Wire's product, is what they need it to be, so that they can go on and on and on, because they are going to continue to sell this product. So they are going to make sure that their guys, they promised this in the contract. In order for us to, in good faith, keep this product and monetize in every type of way possible off of this product, we offer our people to come out there and shoot it. That way, even with any type of legalese, there's nothing that you can go back on and try to bring us back to the table with your lawyers if we're doing exactly what we said we were going to do. So yes, we're going to fly out to where you are because that's our product. You're the talent. Your dad is the talent. That's their product. That's the Daily Wire's product. And that's what Steven Crowder was saying. One thing Steven Crowder realized, though, out of all of you, Steven Crowder decided to completely bet on himself. That's the issue. And by him betting on himself, he's also willing to help out other people as well. And he's not going to penalize them for possibly being, having certain type of demonetizations on their videos and such. If I'm understanding that incorrectly, feel free to correct me, because I'm just now learning about all this.
I want that footage for like memory's sake or whatever. So we get that back after the deal's over. And while the deal's on, the tours are on DW+. They filmed an Exodus roundtable discussion that Dad came up with that took 2 weeks to film, $1 million producing it. We couldn't have done that. They had a large group of people helping him with social media. We had one person. At the moment, I'm virtually certain they're not recouping what they're paying Dad to be on their platform and spending on production. He's also still free on YouTube. There's just extra content, basically.
They are recouping it. You're a businesswoman, Michaela. You know they are recouping it. They're not just giving away money for free. Jeremy said that over and over and over again. And over again, that I mentioned over again, that we're not giving away anything for free. We got to make our money back. He's serious about getting that money back. Nothing's free. They're going to get their money.
That's behind their paywall that we wouldn't have been making anyway. So that's kind of just extra. And a lot of it is given to us after the contract ends. At least for us, this was an absurdly good deal. Gave us all the freedom we wanted and support of a massive team. Otherwise, we would have just kept doing what we were doing, which was working well. But this deal has helped him take it's helped me take some work off my plate. And it's exposed him to more people. Their budget for advertising is in the millions. They're spending as much as they're paying my dad just to produce his content. The team's quite enjoyable to work with. And if we want to remove things off of social media or talk about whatever, we can do whatever. They basically just helped us boost production, gave us an opportunity to pursue projects with a Hollywood level team, and paid us a ton of money.
With a Hollywood level team and paid them a ton of money. And actually, I think I would take that gig. I'd be like, you know what, Daily Wire? Yes, I'll sign it. Somebody will have to jump on my back and be like, no, don't sign it yet. We got to negotiate. Don't sign it yet. I'm like, but they're going to use their entire team. I'm talking about, did you not see it? They said that they will shoot everything. You out your daggone mind? Man, we will be all over DC shooting videos. We'll be in front of the monument, the Capitol, everywhere. We will be in the hood of DC. I will have the Daily Wire crew with me while I talk to people. Man, you what? What? Difference is, Steven Crowder was like, man, I don't need that. I don't need that. I just need for you to understand where I'm coming from. And if you don't, that's cool too. If you're not going to pay me this certain amount, because right now you're presenting me with 50 million, but I'm the problem child right now. And based off of what you guys are saying about all the deductions, I'm going to end up being paid like 10 million over the course of 4 years. And that's not cool. So we need to start way up here at 120 and then we can negotiate down. We can negotiate down, but that 50 million is something that I want to take home because I'm building my team. I think he says he has like 25 people on his team now that he pay. So it's a bunch of things that goes on with that. Jordan B. Peterson, his middle name, right? Yeah, Jordan B. Peterson, you know, he is also a problem child. I don't know how though. It's because when he says things, he's so nice with it, but they still, you know, ding him for it.
Boost production, gave us an opportunity to pursue projects with a Hollywood level team, and paid us a ton of money. And I believe that. That's actually what happened. The original contract didn't start that way, but that's normal for a contract, for a business contract. That's why it's called a business negotiation. Even if you're trying to buy a house, you're like, what's the house worth? Okay, offer less, right? That's just how you negotiate business. It's a lot of money that they were offering, so everyone on both sides was careful about what the deal was. Anyway.
It wasn't about the money for Steven. It was not about the money. I know a lot of people say it is, but it's not. It's about the money for a lot of other people. She keep on saying money, 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 money. And they paid us a ton of money, and they paid us, and they did this in their budget. They have their whole crew. Yeah, for her and for everyone else, they was like, look, okay, I'll play the game. This is sweet for us. I get to do less work and be paid more money. Say less. I'm on it. Let's go. Where do I sign? We've gone back and forth for 5 months. I'm good now. Where do I sign? So I get it. But Steven kept saying, it ain't about the money. People still don't believe it. But you can't make people believe what they don't believe.
I think conservatives should be working together to fight common enemies. The woke crowd that's taking over the world, destroying Canada, trying to stop us from eating meat, confusing our kids, fighting capitalism, freaking people out about the climate, keeping people scared and indoors, burning down areas and cities, destroying California and other liberal cities, limiting freedom of speech, forcing vaccines on people. That needs to be fought tooth and nail, and fighting amongst each other is not a good way to go about that. We have bigger problems out there. So our experience with DW is that they're definitely sharks. They know business, they know social media, production, products, content, and they know how to negotiate. Luckily, so do we, which is why it's been a great partnership so far.
Thank you. I'm glad you said that. Luckily, so do we. They are sharks. They are about their business. They are about their money, and they know how to negotiate. They know how to negotiate. Luckily, so do we. We have the knowledge and we have the money to be able to bring somebody to the table who understands exactly what they're talking about, all the legalese, and be able to negotiate. Most of these content creators, they do not. They can just be paid the slave wages. I think that's what he said, the 1619 wages. That's what that was out of Jeremy's mouth. That's the one thing that Steven Crowder kept playing back to back. Then he slowed it down and played it in slow motion in the beginning of his video showing receipts.
And obviously, I am not one of the DW crew. So this is all coming from someone who's like attached to it, but pretty outside of it. It's not like Jeremy's calling me up being like, Michaela, you're not part of it. You do it. It'll look good. That wasn't happening. I'm still waiting for my $1 million deal, millions of dollars deal, but nothing yet. So I hope that clarifies things for people. We'll see what happens.
It does, and it more so. You did a damn good job breaking down your dad, Jordan Peterson's contract, and all of the benefits of the contract, and how awesome and amazing Daily Wire is. But nobody had any questions about that. No, at least I don't believe they did. I don't think anybody took what Steven Crowder said and automatically assumed that, oh, everybody over in Daily Wire are so stupid. Well, I take that back. I'm sure people thought that. And I'm sure you cleared up some things for some people. And I appreciate you for doing that. I have my own understanding, and you did add some clarity based off of what they're providing to your dad. But, I still look at it the same way. These are business people discussing things that are above my pay grade, and I need to stay out of it. Love y'all, man. Y'all let me know whatever y'all want me to know. Peace.